As you know by now, the Pats won their first preseason game 48-18. Now, this is just the preseason. The Commanders didn't play any starters for the most part, but it was still a fun watch. Let's get into some highlights. First of all, the rookie running back Travion Henderson looked great. He opened the game with a 100-yard kickoff return, immediately putting us up 7-zip. He also had 3 catches and an 18-yard gain off a toss from May. If you've been listening to this show, you know I'm very excited about Travion Henderson, and I am so glad that so far, and it's very early, but so far he has lived up to the hype. I hope he keeps bringing the goods come the regular season. As for Drake May, he again showed he could use his legs with a 5-yard scrambling touchdown. In his very limited playtime, he finished 3 of 5 for 12 yards with 16 rushing yards. A defensive highlight was when cornerback DJ James picked off Commanders quarterback Sam Hartman and brought the ball to Washington's 31-yard line. On a similar note, undrafted free agent cornerback Jordan Polk snagged a bobbled ball from Jacoby Jones and returned it for 18 yards. Undrafted free agent wide receiver Efton Chisholm caught 6 passes for 50 yards and a touchdown. That was really great to see. He had really flown under the radar for me until that game. Rookie wide receiver Kyle Williams gained separation from defensive backs consistently. I was very glad to see that. And final highlight, the defensive line generated pressure consistently, which is exactly what you want to see. Now for some lowlights. Drake May was strip sacked, and it led to a fumble which ended the drive. Now, offensive linemen Will Campbell and Jared Wilson failed to contain pressure on that play, but May really should have taken the sack instead of trying to get the ball out, which led to that strip sack. Vrabel seemed pretty upset about this play, with good reason. I mean, starters should be held to a higher standard, especially when playing the preseason versus backups. I mean, that's the reality of being a starter and being a leader on a team like this. Speaking of Campbell and Wilson, they were a mixed bag at left tackle and guard. They certainly had their good moments, but they also showed their youth at times. Backup quarterback Josh Dobbs had a really cool rushing touchdown, but he finished an unimpressive 5 of 12 for 45 yards. Our young receivers struggled to separate and get open. Now, Stephon Diggs didn't play in this game, but in the regular season, Diggs will need help shouldering the receiving load. Hopefully, Kyle Williams and some others will work on improving their separation and receiving abilities so that the receiving game is not all on Diggs. This really was the most fun I've had watching a preseason game ever, just because it was a really big win and there were some really cool moments. Normally when I watch a preseason game, I start really excited to see some Patriots football, and then like halfway through or sometimes just a quarter of the way through, I'm like, okay, this is very obviously a preseason game, and my hype dies down, but it really never happened during this game, you know? I never locked in intensity-wise the way I do during a regular season or postseason game, but my enjoyment never died down through all 4 quarters, and that's a beautiful thing. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. The first real test is September 7th versus the Raiders, but I'm really glad the Pats are back. Now let's preview the next preseason game. It is this Saturday at 12 noon versus the Vikings in Minnesota. The Vikings went 14-3 last year, but they lost in the wild card round. They opened preseason play with a 20-10 win over the Texans on Saturday. I expect we'll see a little bit of quarterback J.J. McCarthy, not too much, but just enough to get a taste and to see what he looks like this year, coming off an injury. Our offense needs to watch out for linebacker Gabriel Murphy, who had 2 sacks and 5 quarterback hits versus Houston, and defensive back Khalif Halassi, who had 2 picks versus Houston. Here's what I'm hoping to see from the Pats. First and foremost, I'd love to see a passing touchdown from Drake May, and not another strip sack or similar moment. Situational awareness from both our quarterback and offensive line is key. On a similar note, I'd like to see more wide receiver action, and again, separation and availability are the goals. They're simple, but they are the goals. It would really make me happy to see rookie Kyle Williams connect with Drake. I truly believe that he and Henderson can be major factors on offense. They might be rookies, but I think they have a lot of talent and a lot of potential. I'd love to see that fully realized on the field. A final note on the wide receivers, I'd like to see Mac Hollins produce. He's a very eccentric guy, and to get away with some of that stuff, he really needs to be a part of our offense in a productive way. Some of what he does might be meme-worthy, but on a football team, memes aren't anything. Points and plays are what mean things. So get the points, get the plays, and then, I'll let you do your meme thing. I'll enjoy it even if you're a big part of our offense, but if not, I have less than zero patience for it. On the offensive line, Campbell and Wilson need to keep up the blocks. They also need to better protect Drake to prevent strip sacks, like what happened versus the Commanders. If the Vikings indeed play JJ, it will be a great test for the defense. Now, more picks would be great no matter who's at quarterback, but if you pick off or sack JJ, that's a major statement to the rest of the league. The preseason is really all about who seizes the opportunities presented before them. I am really excited to see who seizes the opportunities this Saturday. Now let's